Cyberpunk 2077 delayed again. Is this the new Star Citizen? Stay tuned to find out. Hello, what's up again? Guys, OTM right here with another video and kicking off things right away with Cyberpunk 2077. Delayed again. December 10, the new date. Keep in mind that this game should have come out, I believe, in September or maybe even before that. It has been delayed so many times at this point, I don't even know when it was supposed to come out. but I do believe it was due for September, if I'm not mistaken, at least on Steam. That's for PC. Now it's been delayed again, after being delayed to November, to December. Which in turn brings me back to my point now. Is this game really turning out to be the next Star Citizen? Is it really going to become that game that is supposed to come out this year, yet 5-6 years later, it still hasn't made it yet? Is this going to be the game that is so revolutionary it seems impossible, and it turns out that it very well is? I personally do not think so. Because unlike Star Citizen, the developers haven't released the game to the public in a sense. They haven't made it accessible if you pay a certain fee. Unlike Star Citizen, they aren't grabbing your money and essentially running with it. Now, I'm not saying that's what Star Citizen is doing, because that's a completely different subject. But it is a bit unnerving to see Cyberpunk 2077 turning out this way. Delay after delay after delay. Now, I personally would have much preferred if they know it's going to take a certain amount of time, just delay it till then. You know, don't bother use it as a marketing strategy then to say, oh, it's coming out September, and everybody gets excited. Wow, it's coming out next month. Then when that month arrives, you push it back further and you push it back further and you push it back further when you knew from, let's say, January that you wouldn't finish this game this year. Or that at the very least, it would take until the end of the year to complete all the things that it needs. See, right now they have their developers working overtime, pushing, yet they still have to delay month after month after month. That tells me that even if the game is in a quote-unquote workable state, it is not yet ready for the public. That tells me that there are parts of the game that have yet to be debugged. So even if they have completed the entire game, they haven't yet fully debugged the entire thing. Because you can complete a game and it works temporarily or to a certain point, but the game is still considered, or at least from a designing perspective, complete. So you can say, oh, we already have the complete game and it is playable. It is playable. That doesn't mean it is ready. Take, for example, what game? Crisis, not the original Crisis. Or was it the original? I don't know. One of the two. They are completed. Let's just use both in this case. They are completed, but they weren't properly prepared for the public. So it was like they complete it, just run through, make some mild adjustments, fix it so it can run. That's all they wanted to know. Can it run? It can run. It works. The player can play from start to end without it crashing. Okay, that's all we want to know. Send it out. They don't optimize it, they don't do nothing. And I think that's the stage that Cyberpunk 2077 is in right now. It's in the state where the game is finished. You can play it from start to end, but it's not optimized. And it may just very well crash at some points. So, what do I personally think they should do? I think they should push it back till January. The very late, or very late, at least January. Because, genuinely speaking, I don't think it's going to be ready for December. And if it is released in December, I think players are going to find some faults within the game. Either that or they will have removed some aspects that they promised. Because I don't think that with all the implementations that they're trying to implement, that they will be able to complete everything between now and December. Because let's face it, December is less than a month away at this point. We're in November already. And after seeing how the rest of the year has just flown by, it would be foolish of us to even assume that November, which is a shorter month, mind you, than most, will take that long to pass by. Now, in conclusion, at least for this section, is Cyberpunk 2077 the next Star Citizen? No, I don't think it is. At least I hope it's not. I know a lot of people have already pre-ordered the game. But still, with all of this in mind, at the very least, it does give some time for us to play the other games. There are many online saying that it is benefiting some games more than most. So, for example, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is a game I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to playing after playing Odyssey, it now has a bit of breathing room, you know? It can now flex its wings and fly. Now, we all know that when Cyberpunk eventually comes out, unless some more, a more anticipated title comes out and just knocks it out the park, which at the current moment there isn't any, it will completely take over the media. Now, the one game I personally think would be able to even compete with Cyberpunk 2077 is Star Citizen. And not Star Citizen as it is now, but Star Citizen in its prime day when they were pumping out advertising materials and saying, hey, this game is going to come out and it's going to do all of this. And people were excited. If Star Citizen developers came out tomorrow, boom, drop their thing on Steam and so saying the game is coming out, X amount of time, they have closed early access, or rather alpha testing, they have gone through beta testing, they have done everything, and the game is ready for launch, and they put that news within Cyberpunk 2077's thing. And they actually give the game, the finished product, to reviewers before time, and let them test and say for a fact, yes, the game is finished. That is the only thing I think that could really damage Cyberpunk 2077's thing, because what Star Citizen essentially promised was Cyberpunk 2077 on a galactic scale. Now, mind you, Cyberpunk isn't necessarily the same type of game because it does a lot of things differently, like synthetics and so, whereas Star Citizen is more of an actual human being thing, no modifications to humans and so, at least from my knowledge of it. And so there's some differences in that regards. But still, I think that would be the only game at this point that could even come close to hurting Cyberpunk sales, or not even sale at this point. Media coverage then. Yeah. Cyberpunk 2077's developer CD Projekt Red stock has dropped 25% in 2 months. I'm mainly thinking that's because, the delay and so on as well. And here's another person. What's this? From Forbes, Paul Tessie, saying that the new Cyberpunk 2077 delay benefits one game more than others. He agrees with me as well, as I can see here, by stating that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the one that benefits the most. We all know Destiny 2. Destiny 2, great game, won't control November. It has essentially stopped being covered by the media at this point. Yakuza, man. Genshin Impact, man. I don't even know what that is. But no, for November, we all know. I think they say Call of Duty is coming out November. Call of Duty, in my opinion, has lost its touch, but it's still there. Back in the day when, like, for example, Black Ops 2 was out, and it was a great game. Black Ops 3, in my personal opinion, had less of an impact than Black Ops 2. I'm not saying it wasn't a better game or it was a worse game or whatever, but in my opinion, it had less of an impact than Black Ops 2. Then you had, what? Ghost. I think Ghost wasn't well received. Then you have, I think, I remember all of them. Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was an interesting take, and the rest of them. I think at a certain point, Battlefield kind of outdid Call of Duty for what Call of Duty was good at. I'm not saying it still does now, because I haven't played Battlefield in quite a while, nor have I played Call of Duty for quite a while. But essentially, what Call of Duty is, in my opinion, trying to do right now is essentially cut into the revenue of games like PUBG. And for what Call of Duty is, compared to what PUBG is, I really do not see it being feasible for them to really damage PUBG in that sense. Now, have they taken players from PUBG? Maybe. Some would even say yes, certainly, at least some. But the vast majority of players still just play both games, because PUBG is still better at what PUBG does, which is a MMO. Whereas Call of Duty used to be more campaign driven. No, it has slowly shifted away. That's why I say Black Ops 2 was more of a change of direction. It was where, at least for me, multiplayer really kicked off. Even just local multiplayer, it was really the game that did that for me. Battlefield is it's in a category all by itself. At this point, I wouldn't even compare the two. What other game is there to talk about? GTA 6. Is GTA 6 coming out? Funny. At this point, I don't expect to see GTA 6 in 2021, 2022, or 2023. If it does come out, I would say maybe 2022, 2023, somewhere thereabout. But here's why I think they won't be in any hurry to make GTA 6. GTA 5 is still making millions of dollars. Like it or not, as great as all of these new games that are coming out are, GTA 5 is the only game that offers an online platform like it does. The only game you can essentially live within. It does what, I guess, something closer to what, if you ever watched Ready Player One, would offer a space where you can exist, you can work, you can sleep, kind of, you can party, you can do all sorts of things within that space. It's the only game that currently allows you to do that. If Cyberpunk comes out and offers something similar in the way GTA does, let me remind you, GTA does it for free. The game itself isn't. At a certain point, they were giving it away free on Epic, but that's past time. It's in the past. It's regularly on sale too, so you can get it relatively cheap with the Criminal Enterprises starter pack. But GTA Online, at least on PC, is free. If Cyberpunk does something similar and then, includes the whole transaction thing. Now, there aren't really microtransactions in GTA other than for the fact that you can pay real money to get money in the game. Other than that, though, there aren't really any transactions, at least that I know of, because everything else is bought with in-game currency and not real currency. And because of that, GTA has thrived, because you can get the game relatively cheap. Play the story mode if you want to play it. Go online and play the entirety of the online experience and never tire, never get bored. Now, of course, there's a certain point where you might argue, oh, but you can get bored if you have done it all. But they're always releasing new content. And that new content is coming out for free. And one might ask, but then, if the online experience is free, and there aren't microtransactions like in some games where you have to pay for even guns, skins of guns that serve no other purpose but aesthetic. Let me not get into it. If they're not doing all of that, how do they make money? Because, like it or not, people still pay for shark cards, and shark cards are essentially in-game currency. And so they are making money. And they're making a lot of it. And GTA is still, if I'm not mistaken, the most sold game of all time. At least on the PC side of things. I don't know, it might have changed at this point, but at one point it certainly was. Let's see. The most sold game in the world. Minecraft has outpassed it. 200 million sales, Minecraft. GTA 5, 135 million sales comes in at number 2. So it's right. At the current moment, there's a very big gap between the two. But the fact that a game that has come, well, both of them, I guess you could argue, come out so long ago, is still performing as it is now, despite what some would argue to be outdated graphics, is amazing. And until there is a dip in revenue, I really don't see Rockstar aiming to push out another game, especially since they have recently released Red Dead Redemption 2. They wouldn't want GTA to cut into its sales, because, like it or not, that is exactly what GTA would do. It would chop right into the sales of Red Dead Redemption 2 and take everything. Because when the new GTA 6 comes out, especially its online mode, if it's anything like GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2 will be dead. D-E-A-D, dead. People will forget it existed. Funny enough, the third on this list, in terms of most sold games, is Tetris. The EA version, 100 million sales. I've never played, I don't think, that version of Tetris. I don't even know what that is. Maybe it was Tetris back in the day. I even know that EA made Tetris. It's a video game. Really, yeah, it released 2008. When you look at that, developed by EA Mobile. Huh. Funny enough, though, in speaking, going back to Star Citizen, I think the same thing applies to them with the whole GTA thing and why Rockstar is in no hurry to make a new GTA, at least a public release of a new GTA. I think the same applies to Star Citizen. The fact that they're making this much money without releasing the full game puts them in no hurry to create the full game. Because let's face it, if, let's say, hypothetically speaking, I am a company, the board of a company rather, and I make a alpha release of a game, charge you $30 a month to play it. Mind you, it's the alpha release, not optimized for gameplay or anything. In fact, it has all the bugs, it has everything. Yet, 1 million persons are paying that $30 a month. That is 30 million US dollars per month for an unfinished game. Now, some of you might argue and say, but that's not a lot, especially when you have to take out the paying X person X amount of money, you're paying X person X amount of money, you're pumping millions into marketing, you're doing this, you're doing that. This is, keep in mind, implying that only 1 million persons are paying $30 US dollars a month. But this company has more tiers. You can pay more than just the small amount. So let's say my company charges $40 US dollars a month for a more premium package. And another 1 million persons buy that. Now that is 70 million US dollars per month. And that is without the finished game. And bear in mind that these same 2 million people that are paying this combined 70 million US dollars a month still have to buy the game when it is released. It's not like they will be getting the game free. If the game came out tomorrow, they would have to go and pay an extra, I would assume, 60 US dollars to actually get the game. And that's what a lot of people are missing here. So if I as a developer can have a ton of workers to add validity to it and, to speed up development and everything. And let's say I'm paying them at most 15 million US dollars. And that is per year. That's not per month. So let me add it. Let's say 22 million US dollars. And then I'm spending another 8 million on marketing. That's 30 million, right? And I spend another 10 million on software. I don't even know how much I reached. How much that was what? So I'm 40 million, I believe I'm at now. So when I say 10 million, I mean software, hardware, like, for example, the computer components, wiring, all that thing. So that's 40 million. And then, of course, the software. Let's say, for example, Unity or Unreal Engine 4 or whatever they want to use. and then you pay another $5 million for the year on rent, renting out the building that you're working in or whatever. That's in total, I believe at this point, 45 million US dollars a year. Big amount of money to be spending. But when you are making upwards of 70 million US dollars per month, spending 45 million US dollars a year to keep up that image, to retain that kind of profit, is like a raindrop in the big ocean. You don't see it. It drops in there and it disappears because it's like nothing. You're still making a massive profit. And that's why I think they're in no hurry to finish the game, because they realize they are making more money right now than they would if they finish the actual game. Now you could argue and say, oh, but they could do like what Eve does, where they have a bunch of microtransactions essentially. And really and truly, Eve doesn't really, well, let me not say it doesn't, but I think, at least based on my understanding of Eve and what when I was playing it, and so, they do something more like what GTA 5 does, where they don't really sell things in the game for money, but they do sell in-game currency. If you understand what I'm saying. Whereas, for example, some games might sell, as I had mentioned earlier, skins for guns or types of bullet, types of guns, types of this, types of that, ships, all of these things, and they're selling those assets in the game for real money, whereas these other games are just selling the currency required to buy those things, which you can too make without buying it. So there's that too. But regardless of all of this though, back to my point, this is why, in my opinion, they aren't in any hurry. Now I think this deserves a completely different video on its own, and so that's what we'll do with that. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to hit the notification bell so that you will hear from me more about my opinions on the entire Star Citizen situation. And also make sure to check out our Patreon. We have a Patreon. And funnily enough, there's also a couple things over there that you might find interesting. And of course, patrons receive early access to all of these information that I'm giving you now, along with some other things. So make sure to check it out. Make sure to become a patron. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, everything. You all know the drill by now. I'm sure everybody else on YouTube tells you what to do at this point. And we'll see you in the next one.